Hi everybody, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Dawg RTA. This is a collaboration between Asmodus and Alex from VapersMd. It is a 25 millimeter RTA, dual coil only. I would not suggest trying to do single coil only because of the amount of cotton and the way that the airflows are, which I'll show you down below. It's got top fill, which is great. It holds 3.5 mils of e-liquid. It comes with an extra glass and some things like that. So let's go ahead and go down. We'll take a look. We'll put a build on it. We're going to wick it up and then we're going to come back up and I'm going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are with the Dawg RTA. This is a collaboration between Asmodus and Alex VapersMd. This is the box that it comes in. It does come in 4 colors: stainless steel, black, golden, and blue. It's got the Asmodus symbol right here as well. On the bottom, you're going to get the what's included in the kit, which is going to be your RTA, some Clapton coils, replacement glass tubes, spare parts, and things like that. There's your scratch off authenticity. And I have to tell you, I really love this box. It reminds me like of a jewelry box. So I'm expecting like a ring, but it's an RTA, but it's okay. So you take the RTA out and it comes out like this. So you do get the RTA. This is the Dawg. Put that aside real quick. Take out the rest of this packaging, and then you're going to get this, which is a set of O-rings and seals and some extra grub screws, as well as the 2 coils that do come with it. The coils are fused Claptons. They should be 0.3 ohms each, which will probably be a 0.15 dual. These are smaller than I'm used to. These are actually 2.5 millimeter coils, so I will not be using these. I prefer 3 millimeter coils, but that's just my preference. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these coils. Then you're going to get your manual. One thing I do like about this manual is that it's going to tell you how to fill it, and it's going to tell you all the parts and what's included and everything. But the other side's actually going to show you how to build it. It'll tell you to put your, where to position your coils. It's going to tell you how to put in your cotton. And most importantly, it's going to tell you to make sure that you wash your hands, which is definitely really, really important. So yeah, and it also has a warning about making sure that you have wide knowledge of Ohm's law. So this is something that I stress for any builders anyway, so I think that that's great. On this side, it's going to give you your parameters. So it does take a 510 thread. It's actually, yeah, 510 thread. It is a 25 by 50 millimeter, and its capacity is 3.2 milliliters. So it is constructed of stainless steel. Inside the box, you're going to get a spare glass. You will also get your Allen key, which I have already taken out because I didn't want to forget to take it out. So it does come with its own Allen key. Now your extra glass is also straight glass. So it comes with a straight glass on the RTA, and then you get an extra straight glass. Kind of bummed because Wendy loves bubble glass. But at least you're getting an extra glass, so I can't knock it too hard, but I will knock it for not having a bubble glass. I really enjoy bubble glass preferably. But that's not going to take away from the RTA. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so the bottom of it is a 25 millimeter RTA. It does say Dawg here. It's got some manufactured by Asmodus, and it's designed by VapersMd. It's got your serial number, super, super tiny. VapersMd here, Asmodus there. It's got some bottom airflow. Whatever you do to one side will happen to the other. So you do have these 3 slits. You can break them down if you want to reduce the airflow. But I usually like wide open airflow, but you can do whatever you want. You can do 1 hole, you can do 2 holes, you can do 3. So we'll see. It does have your removable 810 drip tip, so it will fit any of your goon style drip tips. It has the O-ring on the inside, a nice teal one right there so that you don't miss it. And then it does have top fill. One thing about this RTA I have to tell you is this, the quality is so smooth. It literally, sorry, it's been cleaned. It literally has like no squealing or squeaking. It's very, very, very smooth. Everything screws right into place. No type of hiccups or anything. So you do have 2 big fill ports right here, 1 on each side. You definitely don't want to put it down the middle. So that's awesome. And then, of course, that is a protruding 510. It's not protruding a lot, but it is protruding, and it does have your peak insulator around it. And then to get to the deck section, you're just going to go ahead and unscrew the base. At this time, if you want to go ahead and change out your glass, or you need to, this would be the time to do it. I have water everywhere in here. Wow. Okay. So, so all you would have to do is just go ahead and take off the glass. If you notice, it has a really, really nice conical design on the inside barrel, which means that it's going to give you a lot better flavor because of the fact that it is made that way, and it's more reduced chamber as well. So I think that's an awesome feature. This is, of course, the special deck. And I say special deck because, well, that's what makes the Dawg RTA the Dawg RTA. So here's the deck. It is a dual coil deck. I would not recommend doing a single coil. You really need the 2 coils because you want to place them right over the airflows. You don't want them centered. You want them more towards the airflow. Number 1, it's going to give you better flavor. Number 2, it's going to reduce the chance of it actually flooding because you're actually going to be blocking off more of where the juice flow holes are. Sorry about that. So right here is where your juice flow holes is. So what happens is that when your e-liquid is in there, it's actually going to wet your cotton from here. Your cotton's then going to wet your coils and, you know, then they heat up and it produces the vapor. These airflow holes are really, really big. So I do suggest putting your coils like right smack in the middle, like right there. So we're going to go ahead and do a build, of course, as we always do. And then we'll wick it up. One thing about this is you want to be careful on your wicking. So you definitely want to pack it in there, but not tight. We're not going to choke it, but we are going to pack it. So I'll show you what I mean when we get to the wicking part. But let's go ahead and put this on a mod. And for today's coils, I'm actually going to be using these Alien coils by Coil Clout. They are made of nichrome 80. They do have this at coilclout.com. You can use Wendy 15 for 15% off. These are absolutely amazing coils. So these are the ones that we're actually going to be building with today. So I'm just going to take a couple out, not 4, just 2. And then put them aside. And they also have that coiling tool. If you're interested in getting one of those, they have it there too at coilclout.com. I'm actually going to cut my first one and then I'm going to cut the second one. So here we go. So let's go ahead and unscrew them. They do have grub screws. They include extras, so that's awesome. So if you do lose one, you do have some extra. So I'm going to go ahead and start loosening these up so that you can see. And look at how smooth the screws are. Like literally like buttery smooth. I really, really love that. That to me is very important when it comes to screws or even the threading of like how the glass connects with the base and things like that. I just love when the threading is good, no matter what it is. That's just me personally. Then go ahead and take this one off. There we go. Unscrew that one and then I'll get my coils out. I'm actually going to go ahead and measure it from here to where I'm going to have to clip it. Because, well, I do like to just view it. So what you're going to do is you're going to put one leg on this side and one leg on this side, and that's actually where your coil is going to sit. I'm actually going to go ahead and lower it down because it is too long. So what I'm going to do is actually cut it down, and then I'm going to measure it and see where it's at. Okay, so let's try it again. Now, you want it long enough to where I'm actually going to be putting these in and then also folding them over the airflow. So you don't want to cut them too short. So this is actually the perfect length right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coil and I'm going to go to my coiling tool just because it just makes things so much easier. And I'm just going to measure it and then cut the other one. This is actually, oh, I guessed it perfect. It's a 6 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the other one in there and go ahead and pre-cut that one. Makes it a little bit easier than trying to eyeball it. There we go, and then put that in there and just cut the other one. There we go, and cut this one. All right, so now we have our 2 coils. Go ahead and place it in there. We're gonna go ahead and put the first one in. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the side in first since the screws are on this side. Okay, put that one in, hold it down, and I'm gonna go ahead and just screw those together. There we go. Tighten that one down. And then tighten this one down. I didn't tighten it on the mod though. There you go. Got that one in. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Just move this one back. Put the other one in. Same way. Use my special screwdriver. So I'll put that leg in there, this leg in here. Hold that side down. Go ahead and tighten this side down. Trying to make sure that I have you in the viewfinder so that I'm not out of focus. There we go. All right, and now we can go ahead and straighten up our coils. So what I'm gonna do is you see the airflows? We want those to lay over the airflow, so I did wanna make them long enough to bend them over, just like that. You see that? And then we're gonna do the same thing for the other one. Bend it over the airflow. We definitely want them over the airflow. That's why they're kind of grooved that way and they have that shape coming up because you do want them over there. So I'm just going to perfect it just a little bit more for myself because, well, with OCD, you got to have Everything's got to be lined up just perfect. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Just a little bit more down. Oh yeah, baby. Now that looks beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and start glowing our coils and making sure that they're heating right from the inside out. And then we'll keep going. So what I'm going to do is just start pulsing them here. I do have my ceramic tweezers here. We definitely don't want to use any metal against the coils. You can either damage the coils, you can also create a short. So you always want to build safely. That's my motto. So you just start pulsing lightly and you'll see that they start actually discoloring, which means that they're going to be coloring up. Just slightly pulse them. There we go. There they go. Just pulse them and then they're going to start discoloring until they glow evenly from the inside out. And during this process, you definitely want to take your time and you can go ahead and pinch your coils. We want to make sure that all the hot spots are out. If you notice, they're already starting to change colors, so that's awesome. That's what we want them to do. You see that hot spot right there? Anything that looks like a little lightning bolt, that's considered a hot spot. So you can squeeze them, pinch them together. You can also pull them slightly apart. Like that. Actually, I'm going to pull this one apart right here a little bit. And that sometimes helps as well. There we go. All right, they're starting to look beautiful. Go, hot spots out. See that one? Those are the hot spots. That's why I'm actually doing this, to get those hot spots out and have it glowing from the inside out. So just keep pulsing and pulse. And here we go, glowing evenly from the inside out. Absolutely perfect. So let me go ahead and let that cool down and then we'll wick her up. For the cotton, I'm going to be using my Kendo Vape Cotton Gold Edition. This is the cotton that I usually use. It's one of my favorites. It's actually probably the favorite of mine. So again, I'm just going to cut a piece of this. I'm going to just cut this in half or break it in half. And then we're going to use half on each side. I'll just try to make it a little bit even so I can feel the difference. And yeah, so there we go. We've got half here, twist it up. I'm not going to twist the middle too much because I do want it to feel a little bit tight within the coils, but I am going to twist that end to make it easier to come through the coil. So we'll go on from this end, grab that. All right. Sometimes you can twist and pull like that. Now you want it tight. You do not want this too loose in here because it can create spit back for you. So you do want to keep it pretty much tight. You want to have enough cotton in there. And then go ahead and do the other side. Again, just twist it up in your fingers, mostly at the ends, so we can get that in there. Okay, twist it through. Perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it to the base of the O-ring right here. So where you see this O-ring, that's where we're gonna cut it. So there's one. Cut this one to the O-ring. And this one to the O-ring. Now, most of the time with RTAs, I tell you really thin out the wicks. In this one, we're not going to thin them out too much because it is one of those RTAs that's a little bit more finickier, where you need a little bit more cotton so that it's not, the juice isn't pulling into the juice flow rapidly, because if it is, then it's going to get it too saturated too quick and you're going to end up flooding it. So I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit. Good. What I'm going to do is just a little bit of fluffing just at the ends. Not too much at the top, just at the ends. I'm going to trim it just a tiny bit more. And then try that one. Put that in there. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Because you want it to be snug, but you don't want it to be choking it. So you don't want it too tight, but you do want it to block off that juice flow right there, but not too tight. You want your tweezers should be able to go in there fairly easy, which it is for me. See, it's going in there easy, but it's blocking it enough. So that's one side there. I've fluffed this one out just a little bit at the end, just a little bit, and then we're gonna just cut off just a tiny bit more right there. And then we'll go ahead and put that side in, right in that little juice flow right there. Perfect. Again, we can see it right there, but it's not too tight. If you find that it's a little bit too tight or you feel that it's too tight, you can always take it out and take some more off. You don't have to worry about it. Being an RTA, that's the great thing that I love about RTAs is that, you know, you can play with it until you get it right. It's not gonna hurt anything. Take off a little bit of this fluff right there. Okay, put this back in there. There we go. All right, so my tweezer's still fitting in there. Yep, still fitting in there. I'm able to poke it through. So not too tight, but it is snug. Make sure that your airflow is not covered with cotton. You want to make sure that there's a little bit of breathing room there as well. Put this down just a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to do the other side. Sorry if I don't rush through these parts, but I have a lot of people ask me about these parts, so I'd rather make sure that, you know, I'm going through it with you rather than to skip anything important. Okay, we're going to put that in there. So it's just still a little bit too long. There we go. It's got that little fluffy curve right there. Okay. Let me go ahead and put that in there. There you go. Yeah, those wispies will drive me crazy. I have to make sure those wispies are in there. I think those have to go first. And again, it's not too tight. I can still fit my tweezer in there really, really nice, and I can still poke it, but it's still there. It's gonna protect it. And then my last and final side, just go ahead and do that one a little bit. And cut it off. There we go. And then put that one in. And we're almost done. See, wasn't that painless? And put that over there. Make sure that you've got this one over here. Again, I've still got room for my tweezers and my little pokey spot. This one is actually a little bit still too thick. Right here was bulging out a little bit more than the other sides were. So I'm just gonna trim that little curl off there. Put it back in and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Especially if you rewind. You'll see that it was like poking out right here a little bit more than the other sides were. Okay, so we've got it in there. Really, really nice. Not poking out there. Everything's in there. Little hairs are in there. Let's check the airflow. Okay, got it away from the airflow and it looks beautiful. Wispies. Get in. Okay, so let's go ahead and start juicing her up. So as always, I do want to prime my coils. Now, during this time, being that it is right over the airflow, you might get a little bit of residual leaking, but that's not because of the tank or anything like that. That's because right now we're going to drip on the coils, which is over the airflow, and we might get some in. Now, I'm actually in love with this stuff here. It's called stroopwafel. This is actually a cookie caramel waffle, and it came from the Netherlands, and I'm actually loving it, from Charlie Noble. Yum, yum, yum. It was sent to me, and I absolutely love it. I haven't been able to stop vaping it, so we're going to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit, and then I'm going to put it on the coil, and I'm going to pulse. Put on the coil, and pulse. And this is going to make sure that we get the cotton that is in the coil saturated so that we do not get any dry hits and that it doesn't have any break-in time. Because a lot of times if the cotton is not saturated within the coil and just the rest of it is, you're going to need time for the cotton to break in. It's literally going to like taste like cotton for a little bit. So you definitely want to do that, and then just go ahead and wet the sides just to help it get started. Go. And I'm just going to finish up with getting any wispies in. Wispy, wispy. Now this is actually wicked very, very similar to the Reload RTA. I don't know if you've heard of it or if you've had one before. I actually have a video for that as well if you want to go ahead and check that out. But very, very similar. It's like you need a lot but not too much. It might take you a few times, but that's okay. That's the way it works. Okay, so that's it. Put the glass back on. Just go ahead and push it down. Screw it on. One thing about this is if you do get the wicking bat or you get the The build, well, basically the wicking, if it's like doing any problems, all you have to do is just take this off your mod, turn it upside down, take out the base, and fix the wicking. You don't have to do a whole new build or dump out all your e-liquid. You can actually do it with this RTA, which is a great, great feature. That's one of my favorite features and the reasons why I love RTAs. Okay, and then we're just gonna open it up. And down one of the slits, we're just going to go ahead and fill that baby up. Again, this does hold, the manual says 3.2, online it says 3.5, and I'm pretty sure it's like 3.5 to be honest with you. Take a little bit out. There we go. Put that back on. You hear how smooth that is? I didn't even have to hold anything. So there we are. No leaking, no nothing. It's actually built really, really well. And let's go on top. And okay, so here we are back on top with the Dawg RTA. And before anything, I'm going to go ahead and have a vape. I have it fully wide open for you. And as you can tell, there's no leaking or anything like that. Yeah, let's do it. And I have it at 70 watts and it's a reading at a 0.16. Can you see that? There we go. So let's go ahead and have a vape. Right away, I'm going to tell you the cloud production and the flavor is intense. It's really, really good. I know what this tastes like. I've been vaping it nonstop for the past 3 days. 3 days. Yeah. Well, 2 days. No, 2 days. Yeah. I really, really like this. Very, very good cloud production. It does sound like it wants to whistle. It hasn't whistled for me yet, but it does sound like it wants to whistle. I'm going to cut down the airflow just a little bit. Oops, I just lowered that one. Just a little bit. I can never figure out which way. There we go. Just a tiny bit and see if that makes any difference for you. Oh my God. This reminds me of the Reload RTA so much. The Reload RTA, I loved it, but it was a 22 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's been a long time since I've actually reviewed and had that one, but it was a smaller RTA, which made it not so good for me. It was really, really small. It didn't hold a lot of e-liquid. I think it was 2 mils of e-liquid, if I'm not mistaken also. But it had a great flavor and a great airflow, and it was just great. And this I have to tell you is, it's great. I love the flavor and I really love the cloud production. Oh my God. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go over the pros and then I'm going to go over the cons because there are some cons, but we're going to go over the pros first. First is going to be the flavor. Definitely the quality. The quality of this RTA is actually superb. There's no burrs, no oils. It threads smoothly. The vapor production, it's coming through smoothly because of the way that that's built. The build deck looks great. Do I agree with the gold plated Allen screws? Not necessarily, but they're not bothering me, so it's okay. I mean, aesthetically, if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but yeah, because it comes with the extra gold ones as well. The aesthetics on this is just, it's a beautiful RTA. Now, I do have it in stainless steel. It does come in black, stainless steel, gold, and blue. I don't have any of the other colors. I do just have the stainless steel, but even just look at it on my Wonder Woman. It looks absolutely amazing. Another thing is going to be, it's similar to the Reload RTA. If you are a fan of the Reload RTA, I really think that you're going to like this. The Reload RTA was very finicky with its wicking as well, and it could leak on you when you build on it. I mean, when you went to go and refill it. This is the same way. If you do not wick it properly to block off those channels, but not too much. You're not trying to choke the channels. You're just trying to block them off so that it's not getting juice up there rapidly. Then you're not going to have a problem. I can go ahead and unscrew this now. No leaking. No leaking. Because I do have them blocked off nicely. So if you do the wicking like I'm showing you and like I told you how, you're not going to have anything. Look, no leaking. Absolutely none. So, I mean, none. There are some RTAs that are finicky that way. This one is absolutely great. If you close down the airflow just a tiny bit, then it's going to work a little bit better and you won't get that almost whistle. So we're going into the cons because I already did my pros. It only comes with a 1-810 drip tip. I really wish that it would have come either with another 810 drip tip or at least a 510 drip tip adapter. I don't use 510 drip tips, but I just feel like there should have been two. Whether or not it's a second one like this one or a 510 drip tip adapter, I think that we should have that option. Second is that it has no bubble glass. That to me, kind of upset about it because I love my bubble glass, especially for the juice capacity. Being that this is a smaller type of RTA because it only holds 3.5 mils, but it is a smaller size. It's not huge, but it's not too small either. I think a bubble glass would have been perfect because it would be coming out. It wouldn't be going up. It would be coming out, and it'll give you like maybe a mil or 2 mils more of e-liquid. Even if it gave up to 5, that would have been perfect. So that to me, I have to mention it as a subjective con. The finicky wicking for some is going to be a con. For me, being that I love RTAs, I've loved RTAs for I think going on 3 years. That's primarily what I vape are RTAs if I'm not, you know, dripping in an RDA or squonking. I'm an RTA fan. I love RTAs. Anybody can tell you that I really love RTAs. So that doesn't bother me. Each RTA has to be wicked a certain way. So it's not really a big con for me. But I do want to mention it. The coils that come with it are 2.5 millimeter coils in diameter. I think that they should have included 3 millimeter diameter coils. The reason being is because the coils that are included are so small. Even that 0.5 of a millimeter size in diameter, it does make a difference when it's on the deck and over the airflow. I just feel like 3 millimeter would have probably been better, but the coils that they did provide are nice. I just feel like they should have been a little bit better. Everything else is just absolute. Look at the look of this. This freaking looks amazing. I'm not having any leaking. I haven't had it. This is actually my 3rd build I've put on it. I've been using this for a couple weeks now. And it's been working just like I love the Reload RTA. So I'm telling you, it's a great RTA, and I like the girth of this. Yes, the girth of it. The Reload RTA was a little bit small for me. This feels like meaty. It's 25 millimeters, so it's actually giving me like that substance on it. It looks great even on like a big mod like this. It doesn't look too big. It doesn't look too small. So I think that that's really great. The aesthetics on this is absolutely beautiful. The biggest con is probably going to be that whistling. That's probably the biggest con, that and maybe like the bubble glass. But other than that, I think it's a really, really good, flavorful, cloud producing RTA. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah. Smooth flavor, cloud production, absolutely perfect. So yeah, so if you want to find this, they do have it at Asmodus.com. That's where you can find it. I'll leave a link to them down below. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for my review. So I will see you in the next one.